Joe presents Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Hello and you're very welcome to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe together with Guinness. No Trimble in the studio today, but he will be joining us on the screens and in your ears later on because we finally caught up with Will Addison for an interview in Belfast a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to have that full exclusive interview here later on. Someone who is...
for so much sexual attention. It is ridiculous.
It is, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of I don't know who he preferred. You were Trimby.
I think he was after both of us.
He was playing you off each other.
Yeah, we thought we were after him, but he was straight in there.
Straight in, direct.
Yeah, himself and Trimby were dressed the same.
Sorry, I interrupted that flow. Go. Sorry.
I was just going to introduce you.
Oh.
Yeah, Ireland Leinster star Jenny Murphy is in the house in Trimby's place today. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
How's your weekend?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
What'd you get up to?
Team I coach just got promoted. We won a final.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Who do you coach?
Nace.
Class.
Senior women's team, yeah.
Wow.
So, good day all round.
What a day, yeah. Who
A little
did you
bit
beat?
shaky yesterday. Still not 100% today.
That's okay.
So you're going to have to totally take the lead.
It's
and I'm
totally
just gonna
cool.
nod
I
your
think
head.
we did a good show last week and I was ridiculously hungover.
Okay.
So I was like, this is what I should do from now on. Just drink more responsibly.
But pack and put it on the expenses. I need like proper Patron before Baz comes on. Yeah.
So do you enjoy coaching? Do you love it?
I do. Like, it was something that I was like, okay, I'm injured. And this whole 2020 campaign is going about now. So it's like to try and get kind of more females participating, being involved. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Naces will be one of the closest rugby teams to where I'm from. And Dave McKeown, one of the guys, gave me an opportunity. It was one of my first coaching kind of jobs, doing it with another guy, Adam Coyne, who's with Leinster under-20s and Leinster Academy. Yeah, it's good. Like, I think it makes you a better player as well. Like, I don't
agree.
think...
Yeah.
If you can't explain something and break it down in its most simplest form, you don't understand it enough. So with me, it's been a huge kind of learning experience, and I've had a lot of fun.
You coach mostly backs?
Yeah, but like we're both kind of have a bit of leeway jumping in. Yeah. So I know a little bit more about scrums than I did at the start of the year. It's so...
You know which one is the tight head and the loose head?
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
like,
even know that.
and then if and they just go, angles, get lower. Yeah.
Yeah.
They love that stuff.
But I agree. I came out of, I retired at 28, no interest in coaching, and then I got offered a job by UL Bohemians. I was like, shit, I'll take it. Yeah, okay. And if I had gone back playing after a year, I reckon I would have been a far better player, having had to, explain how to do things and watch the game a lot more and from a different perspective, I suppose. I remember Declan Kidney, when I retired, he rang me and he said, best of luck in retirement. The best or the most that coaches have in common, the best coaches, what they have in common the most is that they have the best players. So I was blessed with like Tommy O'Donnell, JJ Hanrahan, Kyle Sheridan, Dave Foley, Dave Kilcoyne, Sean Henry. I had like 6 or 7 professionals.
You made them what they are.
I was like, yes. So we got promoted. And
you were coaching the women's as well. You coached a bit of the...
I did a sevens tournament in Copenhagen.
Heard all about it.
Where they beat the shit out of everyone and I was drinking cans on the sideline with a whistle.
Nailed
They
it.
were like, he's a genius. Yeah. But again, they had like 12 internationals playing for bowls and stuff.
Play it down. They smashed everyone inside and I was drinking cans. You don't need to mention like how class they were. Just like soak it up.
Yeah, it was good. So do you reckon you've got top players? Is that one of the reasons why?
We do have some good players. A lot of them have never played rugby before, but they're enthusiastic and they want to learn. Like, that's kind of a big thing as well. And then their coaches are class. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, they're just... You chuck something at them and they don't... They question a lot more, which is good, I think, because they want to know why. Yeah,
but I found that with the girls, question things way more and way more willing to learn, which I felt that was a little bit more pressure. Lynn Cantwell, I used to do a lot of centre stuff with Lynn and I was like, Jesus, she's rattling me here. I didn't know,
Lynn is like, an absolute nerd for that kind of stuff. Yeah, she loves it. And it's great because when I went into the squad, I got to learn off Lynn Cantwell. So that's like it's a coach basically beside you on the pitch.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, look, let's get I watched a lot of rugby this weekend. I really nerded up. Now that Trimby's not here, I can get away with doing that because he's like, oh, it's rugby, jeez. So, Trimby, we do miss you, though we love you. I went to the Munster match on Saturday night. I watched the Leinster and Connacht matches. I sat down last night to watch the Ulster Kings match, which I had recorded. When I turned on the telly, Cocktail was on. Have you seen Cocktail? Tom Cruise? And I was like, fuck, I really want to watch this. But I have to do my homework.
Oh, I thought you accidentally recorded Cocktail instead of the game. You were like,
no,
happy coincidence. Yes. The bartender's, what, a poem, is it?
There's loads of poetry.
Yeah.
It's creative. So I was like, okay, I'll watch this, but I'll try and I like a movie analogy, you know that. So I was like, I'll try and make a rugby analogy out of Cocktail. Stockdale. I was like, that's easy. So it's Jacob Stockdale, played by Tom Cruise. It's the life of this young, aspiring professional who wants to make it in the world in any way. And cocktail making is his thing. So it's Jacob Cocktail.
Yeah.
He gets the first initial break. He just wants to go to the big city and become whatever success. So he's spinning cocktails, he's kicking them and catching them, he's scoring them all over the place, and he's quickly becoming the best.
Pat's writing all this down. He's like, this is an idea.
Is it though? Is it really?
Question marks all over the place.
And he meets then like this old cocktail maker played by Brian Brown, who is Andrew Trimble basically. Yeah. He's been making cocktails for years. And he was once one of the best cocktail makers in the land. He got Cocktail Maker of the Year at one point.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit jaded with the whole cocktail making.
He's got his own yacht.
He does.
He does have his own yacht.
Because he married quite a wealthy woman, successful woman. Yeah. Weaseled his way in there.
Yeah.
Good memory. So yeah, they kick it off and they're having the crack, and he gives a little bit of life back into Andrew.
I'd watch that. But
then things go awry and they start falling apart. Trimby retires. In the film, it's a little bit more dark.
Yeah,
so we're going to stop it there, right?
Yeah.
So right now, Cocktail had a brilliant first year making cocktails. Second year was a bit dodge. Not too, it wasn't his own fault.
Yeah.
There was a lot of other things going on. But at the moment, he's not in the best place. But we'll pick up with this towards the end of the show, where I think my analogy might... I'm going to
have to have a think about something myself. But now I think that a lot of listeners might be like, it wasn't Trimby that was veering the conversations wildly off rugby. There could be a pair of them in it.
No.
That was good.
Yeah, there is. Okay, we'll come back to that.
Sorry, yeah.
Did you catch the Connacht game by any chance?
I caught a good bit of it. Thought they did really well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Sale now.
Mm-hmm.
Tough away from home next week.
Next Friday,
yeah, that'll be good. Jack Carty now top scorer for Connacht.
All time.
Surpassing Ian Keatley.
Was it Keats that was before?
Yeah.
Nice. Jeez, I didn't know Keats was there that long.
Yeah. Maybe he wasn't. He was just class. Picking over points, going over the whitewash.
And they probably weren't as successful back then, so fair play to Keats.
Yeah.
Carty was unbelievable. What an entrance. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and created two unbelievable tries. Now, I thought Connacht from the get-go were class. They've got so much cohesion going through their squad now. From defence, I think they made 58 tackles in the first 12 minutes, took everything Treviso threw at them, and were well able for it. And then we're scoring tries from counter-attack, from turnover, and they've got so much width and shape to what they're doing.
It's really nice to watch as well. It's such nice rugby.
Yeah.
And that is, I think Jack Carty was actually speaking after the game, and he's like, that was one of the most physical games that they've kind of played in a while. Yeah, he's saying it was really abrasive. But that Connacht are able to do that. They're able to just grit it out, but they can play ball as well. I think so coming off the bench, right, especially in that those critical 10 positions where you're looking at everything. I think he's looking at the game, and the 9 was basically in the defensive line a lot of the time, and that was his
He
little
spotted
thing,
it.
spot over. And then I think that's nice being able to, okay, no, it's not nice being on the bench, but when
Yeah.
you're able to be like, okay, this is my rough game plan when I come on, and being able to actually execute it. And that bonus point is huge now going into the going in for the quarterfinal place. It'd be nice to see four Irish
Wouldn't it?
teams in the Champions Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who have they? Cardiff and Zebra left, and I reckon they'll beat them. They should beat Zebra away. They've Cardiff at home. With that quarterfinal place up for grabs, you know, the way they're playing, they're getting better and better every week. Then I think they could be contenders for the title again, like the way they're playing. And as you said, they've got like the likes of Butler, Dillon, Delahunty, what's the wing forward's name? Fainga, is it? Yeah. Real aggressive, abrasive players. And then the scale of like Blade was unbelievable at the weekend. Healy, Farrell didn't even do much, and that guy's ripping it up every week. He didn't really have to, you know.
And then you've got Marmion. I don't know what the story is there, but I think it's really nice that Blade gets to kind of dip his toe into Ireland camp and then come back.
And Marmion was brilliant when he came on to be able to.
So who would you start then?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Yeah. And I love the way Andy Friend is doing that. He's keeping people guessing. He's not, you know.
One of the nicest gentlemen I've come
Is he?
across in rugby. He's such a gent.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Really, really nice. Like, I have like a lot of time for him. You can like waffle his ear off and he doesn't complain, which I do. And he's a good bloke. And he's like very much jumped into the whole, you know, embracing the community, and which is like a lot of what Connacht is about, and people over there and the players seem to love him as well, which is...
Yeah, but you can see the buzz around the place. There's a good vibe and playing positive rugby, and yeah, I hope they go out and beat Sale this weekend, and that they've got that squad that they've built now. So yeah, fair play to Connacht, but we'll move on. I was at the Munster match on Saturday night. It was the most game of two halves game that I've been at in a long time. The first half was so boring. Really boring. They were 12-0 down after...
They could have been 16-0 down.
Yeah,
they could have been two
And Zebra gifted them a try in the last second of the first half, so at halftime
was that little fumble in the back end? No, that was...
No, Zebra gifted them
Munster
a try
yeah.
just before halftime to make it 12-5, but it could have been... They missed two easy kicks, could have been 16-0.
Yeah.
The best part of the first half for me was I was in the West Terrace with my dad, and we were standing by the tunnel, which is a good hot spot for crack. And someone farted after about 5 minutes, right? And it was rotten. I was like, oh, Jesus. And my dad did the cool thing in that he called out everyone. So when you're like, lads, who's after farting? Which gives everyone an out. Like, they're like, okay.
Are we allowed to mention Guinness now, Pat?
It was a Guinness fart. It was such a Guinness fart.
Oh, great.
They're the worst.
Aren't they?
They just... I'm not
Taste
even...
them. Taste them.
It's so grim. Oh, yeah. Nice, fair play to your dad.
I know. So he gave whoever
And a
it
little
was.
friendly way of doing it too as well.
Yeah. Everyone. We know it was one of you. So this is your opportunity to not do it again.
Okay.
So there was a guy standing next to us. The only Italian in the whole stadium was standing next to us, and it was definitely him. He was like wearing a pair of shorts. It was freezing cold. He looked like one of the characters from The Waterboy that shouts from the from the crowd.
You can do it. Yeah.
Or it's the other guy.
Is that Rob Schneider?
Yeah, I think he was very like him.
Okay.
He had more children than teeth, basically. He had like 2-3 teeth maybe, big beard, crazy head. Great. He was good crack because they were obviously winning and he was just roaring and shouting.
So Stonehenge.
Yeah, he's having a laugh. Yeah. He's having a laugh. So a couple of minutes later, I taste another one. It was strong. And my dad just turns and straight up says, "Are you after farting?" And he goes, yes. And my dad straight up called him a dirty C-bomb. You dirty C-bomb. And he was. It was, and he just couldn't stop laughing himself. And
That's brilliant.
and he just said, I stopped now. I stopped. No more. He said, my arse is clean. Swear to God. So that was the most entertaining part. Of
Pat
the
was
first
in
half.
Italy actually as well.
Yeah, you're in Rome.
Yeah, it was no Guinness fart, no
farting
big
Italians.
farts over in Rome. Yeah, they sent the smelly ones over to Limerick there, and it was nice and pleasant.
The one smelly one. But the second half kicked off a little bit. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it.
They emptied the bench.
Strong bench. It's
yeah.
really nice to see Jack O'Donoghue.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I
Just
thought he
like
should have been man of the match.
Yeah, I thought he was immense.
Yeah.
Really good. And
Really
especially
explosive.
after like the crap that he has had. And just like, and he's come back a few times and played immense. If, like, this isn't the first time he's done that either. Do you know, like, yeah, I thought he was solid.
He was kind of hurdling people and just he's got such a big wide step. He's so rangy. He was hurtling onto the ball, and I just thought, yes, this is what we need. I think he's played himself into a spot this weekend between himself and Chris Clouty. I'd go with.
He was class as well.
Yeah, I'd go with Jack. I think. I think for a game like that, Munster, they know they're going to win. I think, and big game next weekend. A lot of players probably minding themselves. It's a tough game to get yourself up for. When Zebra have nothing to lose, Michael Bradley would have had them absolutely fired up for war, which they were, and they played well, and they're throwing the ball around for everywhere. So you can understand why I think it took Munster a while to get out of the blocks. But then in the end, Blaine Dahl came on, had a big impact, and CJ had a good game. He's just worked. Like, I love the way he just comes back and wants to play immediately. You know, he's
just mad for game time.
no
just
interest
like
in a break.
you can see it. I love when the ref Mike picks up and his like. I think he's just it's like Gladiator sometimes, but sometimes like there's no other Munster players around. I think he's just talking to himself, but it's like still impressive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yeah, you want a player like that in your
Don't
team.
you?
Yeah, it's like even if you're in the distance and you're like, oh, CJ's giving it socks. Like, it gives you a bit of a kind of rile up as well.
Constantly talking.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily that. Sometimes those kind of things are good that you're like, oh, we actually started really poorly. That can't happen again. And it's much easier to switch on and go from minute one in the next game because you're like, look what happened last week.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, that's going to be in their mind. Like, well, for me anyway, so that in the lead up to the next game, I'm like, right, redemption, and like, we can go from minute one. So.
I agree, and they need to against Edinburgh. The Edinburgh game at the weekend was like the first 4 minutes the ball didn't go out of play against Leinster. It was like
their back row again was like Watson,
Barkley.
Barkley,
yeah. So I think you're right. Munster are going to have to come out, and they have come out and started slow in certain games, try to slow the pace down, kick a little bit more, not moving the ball that fast. I thought they played a bit of a slow-paced game into the weekend.
I think that would probably suit Zebra. I didn't like.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, he gives them time to set.
Yeah.
And then go
Suit
again.
any team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you kind of. If I was defending that, I'd be like, fine, we've got.
Give me a second.
Yeah, and like the Munster players are like, then they started pinging it and playing really smart rugby, and then like kind of like it was a shambles. Yeah, then Zebra didn't really look like they were going anywhere. Didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and like Munster's ability to get results, I think, in these matches is, they've proven it. They've beaten Edinburgh, Connacht, Gloucester, Exeter, Leinster, Glasgow, Cast. They've beat, like, look at, let's say, Gloucester and Exeter, top three of the English Premiership. Cast are, I think, fourth in the French. Leinster, Edinburgh, Glasgow, all top of the leagues or at the top of the leagues in the Pro 14. And Munster, without playing exceptional rugby, that we've said,
they know how to win.
They know how to win.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
And
to
they
beat.
can win. Like Gloucester, absolutely spanking them out of the park away from home.
Yeah.
And then also those shitty, crappy games where you're like, right, grab by the scruff of the neck. They're able to do that.
Yeah.
Which is, maybe three years ago would have been a bit like, that could have gone 50-50, and now you're like, oh, this is Munster kind of tipping on again. Yeah.
Obviously Carberry is a huge part of the puzzle there, and getting him back, I think they have a few decisions to make on.
Will he be back?
I think he is. Yeah. Talks are that he's fine. They arrested him at the weekend. Will
Murray be back, or is Murray going to be playing, or would you?
He
play?
Will, 100%. The two of them have to play. Without them, I think Munster, they're very. I don't know. They lack a bit of control, and a little bit of spark from Carberry. So they'll have to play. The back three, I think they have some decisions to make. Haley I'm a big fan of his. He just hasn't been playing well. He made a mistake at the weekend.
I thought he recovered well from that mistake. Like, you know,
did.
that kind of glaring, like, that'd be on a lot of players. And he kind of, to be fair, he tipped away. Like,
got a good try and created another try.
Yeah, like he kept his head in the game and didn't his confidence wasn't dipped. But
it's just between, like, I think Conway will start, Earlsey will start. Whether you play Conway fullback and maybe put Sweetenham on a wing. I'm a big fan of Sweetenham.
Sweetenham was really good.
Yeah, so personally I'd go with Conway fullback, Sweetenham and Earlsey on the wings, but I think Mike Haley's been kind of ever present for them this year, so they might give him the shout. But yeah, it's going to be a big ask going over to Edinburgh, and we'll talk a little bit more about Edinburgh. Okay, anyway, sure, we'll move on, and I'd like to take the opportunity to say thanks to everyone that has rated and reviewed the show on iTunes. It really is a great way for other rugby fans to find out about the show. So I'd like to read a few comments, actually. Jenny, would you like to read the first one? This is a positive one.
Okay, from Dan XYZ. Should I stare into the camera for edit?
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, I probably need to read it, so it's all good.
You can do that.
Entitled, Very Good. This is a clever show. The presenters come across as good guys who know the game in detail. I like the diversions, and they don't take themselves too seriously. That was
I'll
nice
take
words,
that.
Dan. Yeah.
Is
Dan, is that your brother?
or is he your brother?
Who knows?
Let's just have been known, Dan. The guy last week that we took his question, what was his name again? JP. He changed his name on Twitter to Just a Prick. That is brilliant. Because we call him Just a Prick, and he actually went and changed his name on Twitter.
Oh, sound.
What a dedication. Thank you, JP, Just a Prick. We have one from Dave TW, entitled Giggling Girls. Like the two lads, and happy they're having a good time, but the constantly giggling at each other is making it very hard to listen to. Not sure how the producer hasn't picked up on this. Yeah, Pat. Why haven't you picked up on this?
From now on, if there's too much giggling, it's going to be...
giggling.
I'm going to put my foot down.
If Andrew was here, I know what he would say Dave TW means. Sorry for giggling there, Dave, though. Speaking of fans of the show, coming up right now is our chat, finally, with Will Addison. As
Good chat.
It is.
It's a good chat.
Yeah.
And there's like a good bit of rugby covered in there as well. Like, so
He knows his rugby.
Dave will be happy, as will Dan.
Okay, and there's a little bit of giggling, but mostly sexual tension and ducks and Champions Cup. Mm-hmm. Okay. Without further ado, here is Will Addison.
We've had our eye on you for a while.
Okay.
Day one, we said, right, listen, even when, we didn't have any success, we were just Baz and Andrew. We weren't famous like we are now.
Yeah.
And we said, we've got to get Will on the show. And finally, you made that dream come true.
Oh, it's a dream for me too.
They say don't meet your heroes, but I mean, I'm not disappointed.
He's like... I know, I was thinking about it today. It's kind of, because I'm a fan of the show, obviously, and I was thinking it's kind of like that when you've got a crush on a girl at school and you know she's got a crush on you and you're finally going to meet. That's kind of what it's like for me too.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Do you know what he said?
I don't know.
You talking about me or you?
I don't know. Like he dressed the same as you.
Yeah.
He saw what you were going to wear and he's like totally cock blocking me here. Like, I know what you're up to. And he looked at me when he said that more so than you.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
No, I think
two of us? Do you think he's playing the two of us?
I think he is. He's playing us off against people.
Oh, he's so bad.
I know.
So naughty.
There's a lot of tension there.
It's great. We live in that world of tension. You alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. I've
Getting
just
hot
got a hot
flushes.
flush,
Take
yeah.
your shirt off, man, if you're getting
So, Will, what's the story then? You've been in Belfast. You made a big impact since you've arrived. But what was the process? How long has that been in the pipeline, or what was the process of getting identified as Irish qualified?
Yeah, it's probably been quite a long one, really. Like, I've obviously always known I was half Irish, but having my mum who's Irish and come from Fermanagh, so I've always known it. And then I played with Killian Willis, Mushy, Tony Buckley a few years ago, and they, I think, told Vinny, who's the analyst at Ireland, so maybe 5-6 years ago, and then I can remember I played Claremont in European Cup maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and then I had a mysterious phone call, and it was Joe on the other end of the line. So I had a quick chat to Joe, and then for maybe a couple of seasons I like hindered by injury along the way, and then it was maybe this time last year I was. It's actually quite funny you've got Peely on here tonight, because I kind of conned my friend Peely into signing me here almost. So I was basically on holiday with one of me and Peely's good mates, Mark Jones, who plays at Scarlets now, and I was watching, I think it's Six Nations or an Irish game, and I was like, geez, this looks incredible. I need to transfer my arm at going over. And I was like, is there any chance you could just mention to Peely that I'm open to a move and just not that happy at Sale with certain things? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it that way so it just doesn't look like you're desperate and talking to Peely directly. So then he texted Peely, he was like, oh, listen, Will might be keen on leaving Sale, I think, because he's got a clause in his contract there. And then it went from there, and then Peely contacted me, came over this time last year for a look around in kind of secret, and then had like a month to make a decision, because this clause in my contract only ran to the 31st of March, I think it was. So all happened pretty quickly last year in the end.
So what are you, you're 26?
26, yeah.
26. I mean, what age was it then? Kind of, was it pretty quick fire then? You kind of said, right, listen, it's not happening with England. And was England, like, whenever, I mean, you played a lot of rugby for Sale, captain the side and all, so you're obviously doing fairly well. But it's strange that you were never quite on England's radar, or was there any chat, any potential there?
There was little bits over the years. It wasn't, like, funny enough, I supported Ireland growing up, and the fact that I grew up in England, played for England in the 20s, there was no one really put the 2 and 2 together that I could come over here and play. So there was that, and then I played 5-6 years at Sale, immensely happy there, and had the odd bit of contact of England, but there was nothing cement or concrete. So yeah, like, I was always kind of open to it, and until last year there was never really a solid offer or interest from an Irish club, and so it kind of just happened all of a sudden, really. There was never a moment saying I want to do this or that. It was kind of, I've had some interest from Peely over here last year, and that's where it kind of like stemmed.
You were kind of admitting there that, like, you used Peely to get yourself in, but I think it's probably Peely used you. He said, listen, I'll come over and I'll be your coach, and I can bring Will Addison.
Is he walking around now thinking, like, you're welcome, everyone? Claiming it was all him.
Well, maybe if I get back from injury and help your swear jar, maybe you might be thinking that, but for the moment I think he's just, I think I'm in his pocket at the moment rather than he's owing me.
Yeah, either that, or if you stay injured, then you can come to Japan with us.
Yeah, well, I've got to get there somehow, so that's, if I'm not making it that way, then I'll come with you guys.
Three-way. Brilliant.
The sexual tension's back now. What have you done?
So when Joe Schmidt got on the phone to you that time, what was his chat about? Was it just giving you like a heads up that he's watching you, or?
Yeah, there was a bit of chat around how I was playing at that time, and just a few pointers, and then whether I had any interest in coming over as well, if that was something that I was interested in. And obviously it was, and then, like Joe is, he just loves rugby, so then it just got quickly on to how I was playing and how I was finding life in Manchester, and how I was enjoying my rugby. And you can end up talking for half an hour, 45 minutes, easy enough to Joe, just about rugby, which is fine. I don't mind that at times. So just had the odd bit of conversation with him just about how my game was going, any pointers that he could give me, and always enjoyed that. And then eventually last year, I think I touched base with him a little bit as well, saying that if there was an opportunity to come over, if any of the clubs were looking, and luckily Ulster, somewhere that's close to my family and stuff, was the one that stuck out for us all.
Did he say, or did Vinny, when Vinny found out you were half Irish, he said to Joe, and then obviously
I think this might have even been before Joe was coach. I think it would have been Declan, I'd say, that Vinny would, I think it was that long ago that, how long is it since I played with Killian? Yeah, probably 6-7 years, so it might just have been before.
So they would have had a database of all,
I think so,
potentials. You and Chris Farrell.
Yeah, I can remember someone, I think my mum's all over just looking at any like mention of my name, so she obviously loves what you guys are doing. So but I think she saw Joe mention me, Chris, and I can't remember one other player who was at Grenoble at the same time as Chris, that we were on the radar and things like that. So there must have been some sort of database or something there. That
Did he say, I'd like to see you play 15 or 13, or where were you playing at the time? And how did he see that?
Because I was playing all over the shop, because I kind of, whenever I came back from injury, I always saw myself as a centre, but would come back on the wing to kind of ease my way in, or whether there was an injury at fullback or we'll just drop you in there just for the moment. But I always preferred playing 13. So I always asked Joe, and he always kind of gave me the answer that good players can play anywhere. And I think I can remember one time he used Tana Umaga as an example, not saying I'm anywhere near that, but I can remember Dan Braid, my old forwards, he was my old captain at Sale, and I was like, I'd love to play 13. He's like, oh, well, don't worry, because great players, they always stick out on the wing and then they eventually get there. So he used Tana as an example. And yeah,
Tana's a big fan of the show.
Oh, is he? Yeah. I've listened to the episode. I didn't know he was still in touch, but
we would
all the time.
No, we haven't heard from him. He never. He doesn't really reply, but he assures me he's our only Auckland subscriber.
Right.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Might as well start with Tana.
It's not a bad place to start. Yeah. But most of the coaches I've played with played under have never said you have to choose a position. They've always been of the opinion that make sure you can play multiple positions and be good in those, and then if you end up playing 13, you know what a winger wants out of you, or if you play fullback, you know what you want your centre to be doing inside you. So, yeah.
Interesting. I know the thought process behind that, but I do feel the best 13s in the world will just commit to it. Say Drico, Mananu to Conrad Smith. Yeah. They get enough time in that position, because it's a pretty important position going forward, especially being a creative team. If you're 13, can create the way you do for Ulster, and you only really learn that by playing that position week in, week out for years, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, especially defensively. I think 13 stands alone, really, that you have to have played there and be in the groove of playing there to know how to react to certain situations, whereas you drop in and sometimes you can be caught cold. Whereas I think in attack, both with Ireland and with Ulster, the 15 and the 13 kind of play almost the same role, bar in a strike play, but I'd say definitely defensively the two are massively different. But yeah, I'd say hands on the ball time and being involved as a second distributor, I'd say 15 and 13 are near enough the same. But yeah, I think I love playing 13, I love playing 15, but I think to get the best out of them, you have to be playing them consistently, which has always been a struggle for me, because I've always been chopping and changing a little bit, but this year I've really enjoyed getting some continuity at 13.
Defensively, that's the area where you get caught out at 13, isn't it? It's the area if you're not experienced. Yeah. And I'm thinking specifically of the time I played against you. You were playing for Ireland under 21s and I was playing for Ulster Select or something. And I mean, sure, I'm more physical. I mean, sure, I'm more talented and faster, more powerful and athletic and better looking and stuff. But I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's the brains. You've got the brains to see this long-haired, long-armed, dreamy goddess across from you and be like, oh, he thinks he's class. He's like the new boy out of school, but he's wet behind the ears. And I just took the slightest little overs, but then he got me back in the second half. To be fair, he absolutely fucking smashed me. But
that's what they do, though, isn't it?
That's what they do. Yeah. I was an experienced 13 at that point. I don't think you were.
No, I wasn't. No.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah.
But
you were more or less. You were the perfect kind of remedy to Jared retiring, because Jared, then there was always that debate with him as well. He's playing 13 for Ireland, 15 for Ulster, although he's back and forth a little bit. Yeah. But everybody always thought that he got more space at 15, which if you're playing well, you'll play amazingly well at 15, because you'll always have more opportunities to thrive. But you came at exactly the right time from Ulster. Yeah. From Ulster's perspective, because they needed someone to do those two roles.
Yeah, well, Jared's pretty difficult to emulate, and I think even at the moment having him as a coach is a pretty good cheat code for me, just playing, because I can kind of just use him as a sounding board. But
he's changed,
Yeah, I believe so.
Changed.
I believe so.
Oh man, he is different.
He's like fuzzy and cuddly now compared to what he used
to be. Yeah. I only saw a little bit of it, towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
Whenever he made the decision to retire, then he became everybody's best friend.
I thought you meant he would change and then he turned into an asshole.
No, he was an asshole before. I remember him sitting in a meeting at Ulster, and he'd be like sitting on the floor. Some guys would they're struggling with their back, whatever, and he would just be lying on the floor with his feet up, facing the wrong direction, not listening to a thing that was going on.
Smoking a fag.
Yeah, he was the cool dude at the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And now he's the guy at the front, like trying to keep everybody's attention.
Yeah.
And sucking up to everyone. But he's actually doing unbelievable work.
Oh,
at the minute.
yeah,
I mean,
he is,
Ulster are getting, their defence is getting better and better, and it's a big area of improvement this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's obviously worked closely with Andy Farrell and played as like a kind of defensive leader, so he's kind of just putting those words of wisdom out there. And then obviously there's a good few experienced players in the squad that would look after defence and be his like lieutenants, if you like. But yeah, he's doing a really good job. So yeah, we're enjoying working underneath him.
Is it the same? Is it the same system? Because I know Farrell had a few little unique things that took a wee bit of getting used to at the start. Really simple stuff, but I mean, watching the ball rather than watching the man, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is Jared implementing the same stuff, or has he got little differences?
I think he'd be pretty much the same. Like we've got, I think the way that Andy Farrell runs his defence, I think wing's gone from being like the easiest place in the world to defend to now being pretty tough.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Honestly, me and Earlsy used to complain the whole time. If something goes wrong, it was the winger's fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Always, yeah. He expects you to be in, well, he expects you to kind of trick the can, I suppose.
Yeah.
To show him one thing and then kind of do the opposite. But that's...
So I think if we didn't have Jacob or a couple of like Gilly who's worked in that, I think if we didn't have those blokes who kind of knew what Jared was asking after, he might have taken a little bit longer to implement some of the stuff that Faz has done. But because we've got Jacob who can read the 10's body language, young guys like Rob Balakoon and Robbie Little are just watching him going, oh, that's what I need to do. So we can kind of use that pretty well early on, whereas I think that would probably take a little bit longer. But yeah, the watch the ball stuff's big. The go load go, as JP puts it, those kind of big rocks that Faz talks about, and JP certainly uses them as well. But he has got his own little nuances on it as well. But I think defence is pretty based on physicality, and he's trying to implement that now. Now we've got the solid basis of good systems.
Yeah, Jared always he always tried to kind of hide it, I suppose, a little bit. But he was always a guy who loved his rugby.
Yeah.
He was nerdy enough about his rugby, you know, really good defensively, always knew the guys he was playing against.
Yeah.
You kind of play it cool, you know.
Yeah, he's one of those white Kiwi guys who just like, they think they've invented the game almost.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But and the one area, well, not the one area, but one area that he did kind of always thrive was defensively. He just read things so well. So good to play outside, actually.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we were saying about 13s. You kind of got like Conrad Smith, Brian Driscoll at the end of his career. No one had like loads of pace, but they seem to be able to read defences so well because their mind's just a step ahead of the game. And I think that's what JP's like as well. Like even now in training, he can come out and just fit straight in really. Yeah. Even though he's retired, he can just literally read the play so much earlier than a lot of players can. And I think that's one of the reasons he was always great in defence, because he reads the game so well from kind of being one of those rugby nerds. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you then at the minute? What about your back?
Yeah, so a bit frustrating. I think it was just after the Portugal training camp with Ireland. Had a little bit of a back spasm, and then just historically I've had a little bit of a back issue there the last year, and just had a bit of a flare up. And I think normally it's been a pretty linear process of coming back quite quickly, whereas this time there's been a few hiccups along the way, and it's just been really frustrating, especially the timing during the Six Nations. I'd have liked to have gotten involved as much as I can, but that's the way things happen really. And luckily there's been a few break weekends as well where I haven't missed out on too much game time, but hopefully start to turn a corner and get fit for the next couple of weeks.
Is the most annoying thing about being injured at Ulster having to spend time with Gilroy?
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah. I saw he dropped me in the water last week of this. I think because you were alluding to our little Maud's Monday. So Maud's is the ice cream parlour around the corner. We have our club who go there.
That's what I meant. He thought I was talking about
and he thought you were talking about the duck thing.
Yeah. No, the Maud's thing. Yeah. You're a founding father or something.
Yeah, we were founding fathers. Myself, Gilly, Stu McCluskey, Billy Burns, and Dave Shanahan. And then it's like balloon now. We've got like probably half the squad are there on a Monday, and then
they've ruined it.
Yeah, kind of ruined it. We've got like guys like Rob Herring's coming in and having a green tea when we're all having crepes and stuff like that, which has just undermined our whole philosophy.
Not in the spirit of it, is it?
Yeah. So I'm not enjoying that at the moment, but
no, it's start a new one then.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have Tuesday pints and just go back.
Yeah, we'll come tomorrow. We're around. We'll go. Yeah,
let's do
three of us. Yeah.
I got invited to Shanahan's Secret Santa.
Yeah.
That was like my last little involvement, I think.
Yeah,
I asked to be invited. To be fair,
I didn't make that crew this year. Hoping next year I might get in there.
Yeah, I think if you're ballsy enough to ask, you'll get invited. I think he just felt sorry for me because I'm retired and washed up and I've got no friends now.
Yeah.
But Shanahan's a bit of a guilty pleasure amongst the Ulster boys, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of those blokes who's like hilariously funny when he's just trying to be deadly serious, and he's hilarious to have around just for that reason. Yeah, he's a good bloke.
I think Shanahan and Killian Willis have the same kind of role, don't they?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
they're both annoying, but they're good lads.
Yeah. Yeah.
You touched on the Will Addison Feeds Ducks Instagram profile, which we've been trying to get to the bottom of for the last few weeks, because we've been privately messaged by the same person.
No, I've been quacked too. Yeah.
You got quacked too?
I got quacked too a couple of weeks ago.
Have you any idea?
No, I was because I thought you were gonna get a phone call last week, so I had like voice recognition already to try and track down who it was. No, I think it's gone through a few different. It's kind of been quite fun actually. Because I've been in the physio room and there's quite a lot of guys in there socialising, and we've been trying to narrow it down. And even we had our Richard Finlay, our media guy, also he was in there for a bit. He was like a suspect because he's got a habit of, like, as we say, mugging off players on Instagram by putting up horrendous photos of them looking at the worst. And I was like, this Finlay guy's just got it in for us, and we thought he'd done the duck thing as well, because like the Photoshop obviously is really good. It's incredible. So we're like, this guy's got to be a professional. So Richie Finlay came into it for a bit, but Jacob's still up there, but he's promised me $5,000 that it's not him. So either way, I'm a winner if it is. So,
good call.
Yeah.
So Jacob, I believe, I'm led to believe Jacob and Geordie.
Geordie's a sly one, because he's one of those real relaxed blokes that looks like he wouldn't have the effort to do that kind of thing, but I think he's in there as well. Yeah.
Who would be that kind of weird and obsessive?
Still trying to maybe stay in like the banter.
Trying the crack, with the crack. Someone who might invite themselves to a Christmas
has history of it as well.
Secret Santa thing, or has a history of it.
Has a history of social media.
Yeah, dresses the same as you.
Listen, we're never gonna get to the bottom of it. May as well move on.
Bet him $5,000 that it's not you.
I'll give you $5,000. Do you know that's like a year's wages now? I can't afford to make $5,000 bets.
You're that committed to the quack.
I have no idea what's going on with it though.
Do you definitely think it's someone in the squad though?
No, I think John Cooney, he was another suspect, but he's assured me he thinks it's just a normal punter. I don't know who, but
I think it is a normal punter, because we tried to get him across for this. So I asked him if he was Belfast.
We were going to do like a meeting, me and
I asked him. I asked him or her. I said, would you come on the show with a balaclava and a voice changer? And he or she. I said, are you Belfast based? And they replied, Belfast/London.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
A moment of weakness.
That is
serious.
Or am I feeling the heat?
in the squad, that could be Kieran Treadwell. He's and he got done on social media, didn't he, for his social influence?
Oh yes.
So maybe it's a bit of retaliation there. I don't know.
I thought that was internal. That was Cooney, was it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, but this one's I think this could be that weird that it's someone dangerous in the public, in the general public. Yeah.
Here, we'll get to the bottom of it, man.
Yeah,
we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll keep spreading the word.
That'd be nice.
And we'll find out. But in the meantime, you've got Leinster coming up in the quarter-final. I think that's obviously the big one for you. How are you feeling about that?
No, great. I think when the draw came out, there wasn't going to be any easy games, and probably the way Leinster are going, if you're going to win the competition, you're going to have to play them at some stage of the time. So, down in Dublin somewhere, fairly close to home, it won't be too tough for us in the fact that we'll have a lot of away support. I think a lot of people will make the journey down from Belfast, but with the young squad that we've got at the moment, I think it's just one of those that we're just going to throw everything at it and see what comes of it.
I mean, for me, watching Ulster this year, you've probably been the most enjoyable team to watch. I know you talked a lot about defensively there, but attack-wise, for me, that's why I've enjoyed watching you so much. You're scoring tries, scoring really good tries from variety of different plays, and different players. So how exciting is that for you to play with that?
Yeah, really
mindset?
exciting. Coming back to when I joined, I think I knew the way that Peely loved to play. Obviously, we didn't have Dan there at the time, so luckily Dan's philosophy is all about speed of ball and just moving the ball and being ambitious and, as he says, firing shots in attack. So I loved that and bought into it straight away. And I think that's probably the dangerous thing about us, is that we aren't afraid of having a go. And if we kind of put all of what we have on paper, then we're a dangerous team. But it's going to be tough against the best team in Europe to do that. But no, I love the way we play at the moment. I think the speed of ball that we're trying to play with just means that we're dangerous.
Yeah, I think history would say that the best teams in the world, let's say the All Blacks, Leinster, even Ireland over the last few years, to beat a team like that, or for the way Ireland beat the All Blacks, for anyone you have to play a very attacking-minded game. You can't just go out and rely on winning penalties or whatever. Your defence to stand up, you got to go out and win the game. And with the way you're playing, I think against Racing you showed that you can do that. And maybe earlier this season against Racing you were caught a little bit over there with the atmosphere, or the whole it's like a circus over there. But what you did to them up in Ulster after Christmas, I think you got to take a lot of confidence from that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. That we haven't done the preview obviously just yet, but I know Dan will be saying exactly that. We can't die wondering really against Leinster. You've got to go out and be ambitious, like Ireland were in the autumn against New Zealand. They're a team that if they have the ball, more than likely they'll score. So you've got to hold the ball and attack really well. And I'm sure that's what we'll aim to do, and we'll see what comes of it.
It's great. Yeah.
I'm happy enough if you are.
I'm very happy with that. You happy with that, Pat?
Very happy.
Okay.
You've made our dreams come true, Will.
Yeah.
It's been a dream for me too.
Will Addison. Will J.S. Addison. Is that right?
Yeah.
Will J.S. Addison.
Joseph Steele.
Joseph Steele.
Steele's my middle name.
Oh, we got there. That's great. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Steele. If your middle name is Steele, you just got to call yourself
I know,
Steele,
a couple of lads at Sale used to call me Steele, but I tried to make it stick when I came over here, but the lads weren't having any of it.
The guys back at Steele call me Steele.
Hey, Will, how's it going? Steele? No one took it on. I think it's, I'm just Duck Boy now, so yeah.
Duck Boy.
Nice one. Pleasure, Duck Boy. Thanks for coming
Pleasure,
on.
Duck Boy.
Give us one last quack.
Okay, welcome back to the House of Rugby Roundup, and hello to those watching on Instagram TV also. That was Will Addison. He's so dreamy.
Seems like a nice dude.
He is very cool dude. Hopefully he comes back for us to this weekend. I think he's a huge part of whether they will beat Leinster in the belly of the beast the weekend. I did watch the Ulster Kings match this morning, even though I watched Cocktail last night, which is more important.
So you're making your scrambled eggs. I
got more out of Cocktail, if I'm honest. So Ulster were phenomenal, I thought, the other night. They're again, similar to Connacht, they've got that ability they've got that cohesion going on and that understanding that they can turn defence into attack so quickly. They play at such good pace. Like when you're saying about, when you don't want to defend against the team or you do want to defend against the team that are taking the time to swing the ball around. There was times when Kings were barely had their backs turned.
Quick.
And Shanahan was just whipping it. So much width as well, and they do that out the back door pass 9 times out of 10, and they started so fast. First 15 minutes were class. McCluskey scored a great try, and Lowry came on, created really well for Little.
McCluskey's having a class season overall. Yeah. Just like, sometimes he's not. Actually, no, Trimby rates him anyway. But like, sometimes he just goes unmentioned because we're rich with centre goods.
Yes.
Blessed.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, interrupted.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I think he benefits from that quick ball as well because he's quick and he's big. So when lads aren't set in the line and he's running at top shoulders.
Happy days.
Yeah.
And he's able to do some, like, for a big guy, he's well able to do that Sonny Bill little moves and stuff as well. Yeah. And then when you've got like an inside, or when you've got someone like that in the centre as well, you want your wings running in all the time because they're going to get yards or they're going to get free, because it's so hard to make a full dominant tackle on somebody like that and wrap up ball at the same time. So, Yeah, no, it's Ulster nice to watch.
Yeah.
That'd be a good game.
It will. They can switch off in defence. Have you seen? They've leaked a lot of tries this year, and after about 20 minutes the weekend, they were coasting and then switched off, and then Kings took over 15 minutes, scored a couple of tries, and that's where obviously they'll suffer against Leinster. You can't do that.
Yeah.
They need to keep the ball for as much as they can and then not kick it away. And
did Kings get a card as well, or did 2 cards?
they got a red and a yellow.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. That was towards the end. So that was 5 minutes to go. So I don't think it had a huge impact on the game. But just, yeah, as you said, it's going to be a tough one. Down in Leinster, Cooney was a huge impact when he came on, as well as Shanahan did. Coetzee was great. Burns is good. They'll obviously have Bestie back, and hopefully Hendy and Addison.
And a few injuries as well. Cave.
Yeah.
Luddock.
Yeah. Didn't look good.
No.
Big fan of Lowry in the show as well. This could be his opportunity.
Nice assisted try.
Yeah. Big packed Aviva. Get him out there. He's twinkle toes. He can do anything. And then, of course, Jacob Cocktail.
Yes.
So Elizabeth Shue is the girl in. Do you remember Elizabeth Shue?
Yeah.
She'd be up there in my number ones back in the day. Like,
okay.
I was obsessed with her. Karate Kid, Cocktail.
Oh, she was in Karate Kid.
She was the love interest.
Did not know that.
And she's so good in this because she's like, she's humble. She's a millionaire, but she won't tell him that. She works in a diner. She's like an artist. She's cool. So she's like either the World Cup or the Champions Cup that he's
going
for. Cocktail is going for. So this weekend,
if there was a Stockdale cocktail, right? Yeah. What would be in the Stockdale cocktail? Like, it's going to need to pack a punch. Yes. It's going to be punchy. I'm thinking maybe a rum base.
It's got to be Red Bull. It's got to be like really.
Oh yeah,
like
for rum and Red Bull.
Double Red Bull.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Guinness.
Yeah. Okay. Just a little foam. Just
egg.
Just
he
a little
cracks
foam.
eggs into everything.
Okay.
Yes,
there you go. Protein gains.
Yeah.
All that stuff. A nice little umbrella for the flashy boots.
They actually have a conversation in the show, in the film, about the umbrella. Who makes the umbrella and whether they're a millionaire.
Oh, and
whoever makes the millionaire.
Your man Bobby, the Aussie guy.
And the things on the top of your shoe, so those yolks. Someone invented that.
An aglet, that's what it's called.
They were calling it a Flumenblul or something like that.
It's an aglet.
Okay. So that's the Jacob Stocktail. Someone needs to make that cocktail.
And someone needs to drink it and then send in a video of them drinking it.
Yeah, and I also want Gary, who's our genius kind of cartoon maker, editors. You know when they do those videos where the heads are just bobbling around?
Yeah.
If they can stick either Tom Cruise's head onto Jacob Stocktail, maybe some cocktails on the pitch, or else Jacob Stocktail's head onto Tom Cruise's while he's making cocktails. Either or.
Artistic license. Yeah. Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Leinster, on the other hand, did you see that game? It wasn't a huge amount to talk about.
It wasn't great. Like to be fair, Edinburgh played a really strong back row, and that was not the strongest Leinster side we've seen. I thought Max Deegan
he's class.
was really well. Again, like back in that, like Quinn Doris as well is another. Like Leinster, that's all those loose forwards. There's huge competition.
Yeah.
There, it wasn't the greatest game, but they've already topped. Already topped their conference.
Similar to Munster, I don't think they kind of went out with. I think they lost Ross Byrne or earlier that day. Probably took a sting out of them a little bit. Frawley did okay, but didn't control the game very well.
No.
Very unlike Leinster, they were sloppy and gave away possession a lot, which usually they just keep the ball for 70% of the game. But Edinburgh were good, to be fair to them.
Yeah. Where does that leave Edinburgh now?
They're fifth, I think.
So they're not.
So that's why they had. I suppose they had to play.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they rested only 2 players. Who did they rest? I can't remember, but they had a full strength team pretty much, and it was a fast game. So that could work out well for Munster next week if they're a little bit blown by 60, 70 minutes, because half that team have played 5 Six Nations games, and then last weekend, which was a tough game, they had to win it. So I think Munster will probably eye that up and, as we said, maybe start strong and try and tire them out.
And it's nice that you've got, like, off the bench, you got a lot of the lads that have had taste that bit of game time but wouldn't have that 80-minute kind of fatigue in their legs either. So they've had a bit of taste of that game, but are be kind of good to go and pretty fresh for Edinburgh.
Okay, well, we do some predictions.
Cool.
Leinster versus Ulster, 5:45 at the Aviva Stadium. What a game! That's going to be unreal.
Yeah.
I'm going to the game excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
I bet you it'll be a day like this. I love that spring. The sunrise this morning was spectacular. And it's just that week where I'd say rugby players just bounce out of bed. Like,
It's just today will be a good day. Yeah. It's going to be a good day. Yeah.
I reckon it will be crisp,
Nice little...
dry, warm. Saying words.
I was actually saying I got completely distracted. I was like,
It's really
they're
nice.
all the adjectives. There, yeah. It's like a William Wordsworth poem.
Yeah, I just love these quarterfinal games. They bring something special.
Yeah.
Especially 5:45. There'll be a lot of people farting Guinness in the stand. There'll be a buzz around.
It'll be good. Like, as in, it's not a terrible game. Like, as in, the Ulster fans will travel.
Exactly.
It's not like so like Aviva. Hopefully, be
Rocking.
good place to be.
So, who do you think?
Leinster.
Leinster. I'm going to go on an upset and go Ulster. I think
Okay.
they've less to lose. A few of the Leinster players would be a little bit wounded after the Six Nations, and if I think Ulster could rattle them.
I think that's why maybe Leinster will do a job, because they didn't have the best Six Nations. So, not many teams get the opportunity to have a disappointing campaign and maybe not play as well as they know they can themselves. Quarter final is not a bad place to kind of be like, right, I'm gonna go out there and end on a good note.
Yeah.
So that'd be my thought anyway. So
Yeah. Oh, look, I wouldn't doubt
see.
it for a second.
Yeah,
that
it'd
they
be a
would,
good
but
game either way.
I just said I'd go against you for
Thanks,
the crack.
Asher, Munster fan. Yeah.
Edinburgh versus Munster. What do you think?
I know I'm going with the Irish teams, but I just think Munster again. If like Murray's back in, I actually don't know who would play 10. It'd be nice to see Carberry there. But yeah, Edinburgh. Hopefully Leinster will fatigued them a little bit. So like you were saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think Munster for a win. I think it'll be very tight, but they'll obviously have a huge fan base that will travel over there as well, and with the experience they have in that part of the competition, will get us over the line. Saracens versus Glasgow. I think Saris are hard to look beyond. Yeah,
and home as well. Yeah, they're just a powerhouse. Yeah, and I don't. I see that as possibly being the game with the biggest margin in terms of just kind of looking at it, be like, and I think Saracens would be happy with that draw, like getting like Glasgow as well. No offense to Glasgow,
but they'll be missing a few as well. They got a lot of injuries in the Six Nations, so probably the toughest ask for any team to go to Saracens and win. Racing versus Toulouse. Jesus, it just doesn't stop, does it?
I don't know. This one, I initially go Racing, and then I was like, oh, you've got like that 9-10 fullback from the 60s. Yeah, like Dupont, Netamac and Ramos. I don't know, that's a huge... I thought they had a solid Six Nations, even though France maybe didn't.
Yeah, no, you're right. Zeebs and Dunner both scored for...
Yeah, Zeebs set up.
Yeah.
Generous, nice, yeah.
Yeah, again, Zeebs looking even more enticing to bring him back into the Irish fold. That would be just... I think I would love to see it happen. Do you ever see Wild Things? A Wild Thing, it's a baseball film.
No.
Charlie Sheen is in it back in the 90s, and he's a wild thing. He's a baseball player.
So Zebo is Charlie Sheen.
He's Charlie Sheen, and he's flamboyant, he's class. Yeah. And then he disappears for a while, and he gets a little bit... He tries to be straight because he thinks that's the way he has to be. Yeah. And he loses his mojo, and then they bring him back. And he's got that leather jacket. He's got a lightning bolt shaved into the side of his head, and the place going mental, and they win the Major League. And that
could be Zeebs. Or Donnacha Ryan.
I'd love to see Dunners. But there's a lightning bolt shaved into his head. That would be class.
Oh, we can do Top Gun, but Donncha Ryan can be Tom Cruise and that kind of like playoff. We're doing. I'm not going to go down this route. Yeah, but that's in my head.
For next week.
I just had the leather jacket churling kind of thing going on.
Dunners.
Moving swiftly along, as Trimby would say.
Okay, well now we asked you to vote on the Guinness Made of More Irish Player of the Weekend, and here are your nominees. The Connacht pair, Matt Healy and Quaylen Blade. Special mention to Jack Carty, but he only played 20 minutes, so that would be a bit harsh.
Yeah.
Munster's Jack O'Donoghue and the banger bulldozer Stuart McCluskey. Nice, Pat. Thanks for all your votes and comments. The winner is Jack O'Donoghue. Well done, Jack. Awesome, we called it.
Nice. I think you definitely called it. I'm not going to, but yeah.
We did mention them all, so we could have said that about any of them. We also put out a shout for your Twitter questions using the hashtag AskHOR, and we mentioned at the top we're flooded with responses. Here are some of your best. Mike McGuckin wants to know if our show will get its own theme tune. It actually has its own theme tune, which is Hermitage Green song Lion's Share, which is what you're listening to when you hear it. You can go listen to that on Spotify, iTunes if you want.
Plug.
Just give me about 0.001 cent of whatever Spotify make. Drinks are on me. If we were to have a theme tune,
I'd love like one of those really twangy Law and Order ones. Doom, 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 doom. And then it's like, and then you and Trimmy turn being like, we're back in studio. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I love it, like Seinfeld bass line.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. Yeah. That's what I was going with anyway.
Perfect. I would be all over that. Gary might be able to put that together for us as well with the cartoon. Let's look. Will Richardson tweeted us with his Game of Thrones starting 15 and asked us to do better. Here is his team. Front row of Hodor, Hot Pie. Who's Hot Pie? Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Robert Baratheon, very good. The Hound and the Mountain make up the second row. Arya.
I was at 6. I was like, I don't know. Arya at 6.
Dangerous little 6, no? Should be more of a 9, surely.
Yeah.
Although Bronn, solid 7.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know the way 7s are always kind of blondie or something? What's that about?
They use a lot of moves.
They always look the same, and he kind of fits that. Yeah. Brienne of Tarth, great number 8. Huge ball carrier, probably can move. I'd say she could hold the ball in one hand and throw it around, that kind of crack. Yeah. Tyrion.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so
smart dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Control the game. Be a little bit manipulative.
Jamie Lannister, I kind of would have gone with Peter Baelish. Little sneaky, little,
crafty little.
Yeah. Manipulating all around him.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
For this.
What about who did we have as Johnny Sexton? The little Joffrey. He's great. He has to get in there somewhere. Grey Worm, is he the guy, the eunuch?
Yeah.
Okay. Dickless on the wing. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. I can hear the crowds now. Go on, Dickless.
Dickless.
Yeah. Take him on.
Don't go for the dick. He'll be grand. Jon Snow, 12.
Yeah. Where's the Ice King? The Ice King needs to kind of come in there.
Or
maybe
the
not.
dragon.
Maybe a 12. Oh, the dragon. Oh.
Dragon was just too easy, wouldn't it? Khal Drogo be like a Chris Farrell-esque number 13. Chris Farrell's so big. He came on the pitch the other night and I was like, Jesus Christ. Imagine going up against that fella.
He's like a big muscly triangle.
Yeah. Very good Khal Drogo.
I meant that as a compliment, sorry. The minute I said it, I was like, why did I say that?
That's what every man wants
in
to hear.
should try. Oh, never mind. Just, yeah.
Oberyn Martell, no idea who that is.
That's the guy that got, he got poisoned with the mountain killed him. With the, is that
his eyes, remember he got
his eyes popped and everything.
Crushed his head.
No, he put his...
Oh yeah, he did crush his head.
Picture this as someone's head, right? And these are he just like basically put his thumbs in.
No, but his head exploded.
There's horrible. I just closed my eyes, but I heard stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah,
bit.
no, he exploded. Actually, someone tweeted us the other day, or messaged Andrew actually the other day privately, saying that he was listening to the live show from Belfast, and we were talking about the Red Wedding, and we totally gave him a spoiler alert. Like, we didn't give him a spoiler alert, and we ruined it for him. He was in like the middle of. He was just about to watch that next episode. He called us a shower of C-bombs. Apologise for that, man. Ramsey Bolton is the final 15. That creepy little fucker, yeah. Speaking of dickless, he cuts the other lad's dick off, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did it with a few chaps.
Typical fullback.
Was Will Addison just on the show? Yeah. All right, yeah.
Love Will Addison.
He's 13 as well. So
he's great.
Fine. Yeah.
Right, that's it. We'll go with that, man. I think I like yours, Will Richardson. Very good effort. And thank you for all those questions, and thanks for all your tweets and for subscribing. Thank you for your comments, for listening in your favourite apps, and for watching us on YouTube. Jenny, thanks so much for coming in and replacing Mr. Trimble today. Trimble, you can't wait to see you back. Hope you're having a good week. Have you had fun?
Had fun? Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
it was too fast.
Well, it was fast, but now I'm probably going to drive to work and think about cocktail/rugby play.
Go watch Cocktail tonight.
Yeah.
Great flick.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes for all of you. Big thank you to everyone that was involved in making the show this week. Fiona, Shane, Ian, Michelle and Pat. This has been Baz and Andrew and Jenny's House of Rugby on Joe, together with Guinness. Thanks for keeping us company. Party on, Joe.